I recently took and passed my Mod 1, so I'm officially halfway to my A2 license. I used my own bike to take the test on, as those of you who follow the channel will know, which was my Honda Rebel 500. And for those of you who know anything about cruisers and anything about the Mod 1, you'll know that it wasn't super fun trying to do slaloms and U-turns and figure eights on a cruiser, but with a little bit of practice I managed to get it down. It just goes to show that you can do these manoeuvres on any bike. I did a whole day's training and then I took my test about 2 days later, and I'd really recommend getting the training even if you think you can learn the manoeuvres yourself. We trained at both the training centre and at the actual test location, which meant that by the time it came to doing the test, I was super familiar with the layout and everything that was expected of me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film any of the actual test, but I did manage to film a little bit of the training. Before my Mod 1, I spent quite a bit of time practicing slaloms, U-turns and figure of eights on my 125. And I'd say that this helped a little bit for confidence, but it didn't really translate that well to my actual test, since my 125 is a naked bike and I did my test on a cruiser. The fundamentals are the same, but my body positioning and the physical size of the bike was completely different. I'd say that if you're taking your test on a bike that's similar to your 125, it's worth doing the practice and it probably will translate a little bit more, but at least in my situation I found that it only really helped for a little bit of a confidence boost. With the cruiser, I had to keep the revs up just a little bit, otherwise I wouldn't have had enough stability to make the tight turns during the figure of eights and slaloms. I still think it's worth practicing the movements on your 125 if you're getting ready to take your test though, just for a little bit of a confidence boost. I got 3 minors out of a possible 5, one for forgetting a shoulder check, one for being a bit unstable during the manual handling, and one for not stopping in the box correctly on the controlled stop. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I was so nervous that I was going to drop the bike during the test, but thankfully that didn't happen. It's really hard to find test space at the minute, so my Mod 2 isn't for a couple of weeks yet, but I'm looking forward to getting that done and getting my license so I can finally get out on the road on my big bike. For those of you who aren't familiar with the licensing system, the Mod 1 is the first of 2 tests we have to take here in the UK to get a motorbike license, and it's slow manoeuvres in basically a lot, or similar to a car park. You do emergency stops, hazard avoidance, swerves, slaloms, figure of eights, U-turns, and manual handling where you have to physically move your bike from one parking bay to another. Overall, it's not too difficult, but there's not too much of a margin for error. If you put your feet down on any of the manoeuvres, you automatically fail, but if you're confident doing slow speed stuff without putting your feet down, you should be fine. I'll be making some more big bike videos soon, and some tips on how to go from a 125 to a bigger CC bike. Stay tuned for those, and in the meantime, ride safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.